Okay, so first of all, I'm very, very, very sorry for being late. I've received quite a lot of questions, over 10. All of them, each and every one of them are very profound and very difficult questions, some of them. I could spend hours speaking, just answering just one question. But because time is the challenge, I may not be able to finish all the questions, but maybe since it's all kind of related, hopefully you will get the gist of whatever you want to know. Now, you are going to be engineer, isn't it? And I was looking for the definition of engineer. And the definition of engineer is a person who uses scientific knowledge to solve practical problems. It's one of them, which is very interesting. Because the very reason I'm late here is I just had a long Zoom conference. So the Zoom, I guess you can call it, is an engineering, which perhaps may have helped us to solve a lot of problems. We don't even have to go anywhere. You can just, look at it. Some people are in Europe, some people are in America. I'm here, and we can just have a conversation using the engineering called Zoom. But here is the interesting part. Solving the practical problems. Now this is interesting, isn't it? After the arrival of the phenomenon called Zoom, actually not only me, I'm sure everyone, we have become more busy. So are we really solving the problems, or are we just making more problems? If not for the Zoom, I would not be late here. I would be speaking to you face to face. I'm saying this because so-called problem, which I guess if you ask me, what will we call in Buddhism problem? In Sanskrit we call it dukkha, which is translated as dunghal, which is badly translated in English as a suffering. I don't think it's just suffering. It's basically that nothing is 100% perfect. No matter what we have, even so-called fun or so-called success, it always has its flaw. So I thought this is quite interesting. But we human beings, we like to solve problems. We feel vindicated if we manage to solve problems. Definition of success many times is how much you have managed to solve the problems. But maybe there are times that we need to teach ourselves that not all the problems can be solved. Some of the problems we just need to solve it by accepting that it cannot be solved. And that may be a good engineering from a Buddhist point of view. You understand? Because there is actually a question Question: in what ways can future engineers in Bhutan contribute to promote Buddha Dharma? First of all, I don't, it's too, what do you call it? I think it's a bit too arrogant for a Buddhist like myself say that, we have to, in Bhutan, we should promote Buddhism. Yes, why not? As a Buddhist for myself, I would be happy if the Buddha Dharma is promoted, if it is being known, and if it is being, if people have curiosity on Buddhism, if people actually can do some contemplation on what the Buddha taught. It has a lot of it has a lot of answers to especially today's problem and today's challenges. But Hinduism, so-called Hinduism, okay, I need to tell you this. There was never so-called Hinduism. I'm sure you know that. The word Hinduism is invented much later, mainly by the Abrahamic people. So, after the Alexander the Great, there was no Hinduism. Like in our Kanjur and Tenjur, when we read the Buddhist text, there's no mention of Buddhism or there's no mention of Hinduism. But anyway, let's not go in there. What I'm saying is, yes, nice for a Buddhist, that would be nice to promote Buddha Dharma. But I think I think you should think in terms of how should we, the young Bhutanese, not me though, you guys, how should you, the young aspiring engineer Bhutanese, think of contributing to Bhutanese confidence, peace, harmony, and prosperity? That is probably a good way of thinking. Instead of really thinking that Buddhism is the only answer. You understand? Of course, if you ask me, what is peace? What is prosperity? What is happiness? I will only, as a Buddhist myself, raised as a Buddhist, and I'm a Buddhist practitioner, I'm a Buddhist student, I'm a Buddhist teacher also. So if you ask me the definition of what is happiness and what is prosperity, I will give you my answer, of course, purely from Buddhist point of view. For instance, if you ask me, which is also in one of your questions, so I'm trying to blend them all together, by the way. So if you ask me, okay, so what is Buddhist ideal world? Okay, let's break it down. What is Buddhist prosperity? What do we mean by prosperity in Buddhism? It's a very big question. When we describe, I'm sure some of you may have heard the concept of Roarik to 6 realms, like hell, God realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm, human realm. If you ask me, okay, so what is God realm in Buddhism? Now, when we use the word God, the Buddhist usage of the God and the Christian usage of the God is different. Okay, so you need to bear this. In fact, if you ask a Buddhist, where do you prefer to go out of these six realms? the Buddhist is supposed to say human realm. The Buddhist prefers human realm. And there's a very good reason for that. I should give you the reason because it's kind of important. Why? Why? Even over the human realm? Even over the God realm? Because God realm sounds really good. Heaven, Why not God realm? Why not heaven? And Asura realm, which is very, very powerful, much more powerful than the human realm. But why not Asura? Why we are supposed to prefer human realm? The Buddhist answer is because human beings can have the capacity or propensity to have sadness. This is a very important, actually, this is important thinking, Buddhist thinking. And why should we have a sadness? And when we talk about sadness, what kind of sadness we are talking, of course. So, okay, anyway, maybe I'm getting all scattered everywhere. So, what constitutes God? What do we mean by God? By the way, when Buddhists talk about the 6 realms, Buddhists also don't really talk about 6 realms as it exists outside. Like hell is not underneath the earth. Heaven is not above the cloud for the Buddhists. It's really a mental state. It's an attitude. So a Buddhist can say, God is usually when you have so much pride, when you have arrogance. That is the God realm experience. Anyway, let me describe sort of how a human realm. Remember, sorry, I'm really getting distracted to a lot of because there's so many questions and I'm trying to cover some of it at least. Remember, I was going to talk about what is the Buddhist ideal prosperity. Remember? Okay, so when we talk about human problem or human suffering, the Buddhists always say human has many different kinds of suffering, such as birth, old age, sickness, accidents, not getting the promotion, not getting the enough thumbs up, too many thumbs down on your TikTok account, all kinds of, alienation, sad, all kinds of suffering. But there are 2 suffering that is kind of unique to human being. And those are, in Chökyi we call it Del and Pong. It's very interesting. Del means busy. We are just so busy. We love to be busy. If we are not busy, even though we may complain we are so busy and we are so stressed, you try to be not busy for 1 hour. You can't. Some meditators, they can maybe, because they are choosing not to be busy, choosing to sit and watch their breathing, or watch their nose, tip of the nose, or watch their blue sky, or whatever. They are deliberately designing not to be busy. But beyond that, we love to be busy. At the same time, we hate to be busy. We are suffering of being busy. And many times, for instance, we are busy preparing. Today, we are busy preparing for tomorrow. This year, we are busy preparing for the next year. Busy, 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 busy. As if there's actually a song, Buddhist song. It's called Mitse Tamji Drap, Drap Jibing Andu Tamji Chi. Drap means arrangement. Jadi in Dzongkha, Jadi Jami. Our life, we are always busy doing Jadi. arrangement. And then the goal of the arrangement never seems to come. Maybe it comes a little bit, but then it leads to more arrangement. But anyway, you know what? We need to be busy, but at the same time, we could be also stressed. We are so, pounded by being busy. So anyway, that's one of the human problem. The other human problem is pom. Another interesting word. We always think we don't have enough. We never think, okay, that's it. One pair of shoes is good enough. Or, okay, I don't know, we just never think that we have enough. We don't think enough. Contentment, right? We don't have this contentment. So, if you're asking me what is the ideal human life, maybe you try to make less busy. Even if it is 10 minutes a day. Okay, 10 minutes a day, stop everything. Close the door, open the door, don't call anyone, don't look at your phone, do nothing basically. 10 minutes, not only physically not busy, verbally not busy, and mentally not busy. That, if you can reach, then you are, for at least for 10 minutes, you are experiencing the ideal human life. Also, some sort of a sense of contentment. This is good enough. Let's say you have a chat with your friends, let's say you have a good time with some friends and families today, and you think you should celebrate. This is good. A couple, for instance, lovers, husband and wife, lovers especially. The lovers never really manage to celebrate their love affairs because they are always busy thinking about where is this going to lead. Or we are always busy thinking about how to make it more solid, be it a wedding ring, be it an engagement ceremony, be it a marriage. Make it, and then, certificate of marriage. Just make it really, really solid. And, carve it on the rock. And you understand? So that is something that can be engineered. I should speak, since you're all students, engineering school. So that's something I wanted to share. And I was also, as I'm thinking about you being an engineering student, I was also exploring a few other words like machine, because this also comes up in some of your questions. Machine. Okay, so it's very related to engineering, isn't it? Machine. I know you guys are all learning the machine. I don't know, you have your machines. I've been to this school many times, so I know you have some incredible machine. But there's really, really one of the most powerful machine. That is a machine of your mind and your body. Have you thought about that? That is a really, really, that needs a good workshop. That needs a good, oil. That needs a good refueling. That needs a really good maintenance. And that also needs a good awareness that whatever you are going through your body mission and the mind mission, you have to have a healthy, sane acceptance that it's not going to last. It's going to transform. It's going to change. You really need to be aware of that. And doing so, actually, you know what? I was thinking, as I was reading the definition of the word engineering, I was very inspired. The word engineering is such a good thing. Actually, I'm thinking even instead of using the word meditation, gom, to some gom, I might even use the word engineering. Let's do some engineering, meaning sit straight, or breathe normally, or concentrate your mind on a certain. That's an engineering. And what is it? It's scientific. And remember, I was talking earlier. What's the definition of it's scientific knowledge to solve practical problems, and that can be achieved through this. And I think that kind of engineering is quite necessary, isn't it? Because no matter what kind of machines you have, or external machines you have, or what kind of, I don't know, as long as your physical and mental engineering is not sound, not going to make much difference. Because after all, what are we looking for? We are looking for some kind of what in Sanskrit we call it sukha, which is deva. Deva, happiness. Happiness may be not the right word, but some kind of a satisfaction, some kind of a perfection. Okay. Now, I hope I have answered quite a big chunk of your questions, but there are a few unique questions I will try to answer. This is an important one, and as a Buddhist, I want to really answer this. How does culture plays part in one's spiritual development? Very important question. And as a Buddhist, I want to answer this because if Buddhism is the bride, bride, nama, bride, nama, wife, bride. If Buddhism is bride or the groom, culture is in-laws. You understand what I'm saying? Bride, newlywed bride, in-laws, you have to live with them, but you also don't like them. They also don't trust you. You don't trust them. But then you have to be good friend. You understand? It's a bit like that. Culture and Buddhism has that kind of relationship. Culture has helped Buddhism to grow. Because culture is, tangible, visible. Culture is solid. Culture is very, very interesting. Culture has a sort of a story, and people like stories. Culture is photographical. Like a tourist come, land of Buddhism. With a lot of cameras they come, land of Buddhism. How can they take the photo of everything is impermanence? I mean, they can, but the philosophy itself, anicca, dukkha, anatta, selflessness. How do you take photograph? You can't. But they can take photo of prayer flags, they can take photos of stuff like this, they can take photos of robes, colorful, and then they all think that's Buddhism. Buddhist, shaved head, you can take photo of that. That you can do. Then you understand what I'm saying? So this is an important question. Culture plays an important role, both positively and negatively. Buddhism as a bride or the groom cannot just reject. I mean, of course, at the end, when you get enlightened, I guess, or when you are quite close, culture is shrugged off, in-laws are dead. You understand? In-laws have become old. Then you have become the boss. You understand? So, culture is a very interesting. I'm 64 years old. I have really looked at the fluctuation of Buddhism in Bhutan. And I have to say, a lot of people say, Bhutan is becoming so modern, the television is destroying Buddhism. Really? I don't think so. Maybe a little bit. And then some people say, maybe some other religions are now, creeping in, and that's really, destroying Buddhism. I don't think so. Many times our own culture, our own stuff that we think that they are Buddhism, even the interaction between you and me. For instance, I don't know, let's say, let's say some of you here have a peculiar problem, right? Peculiar. Let's say, I don't know, let's say you are kleptomaniac. You know what is kleptomania? Those who can't resist but they have to steal. We have. It's a kleptomaniac is nothing to do with it. Is it stealing? I don't think so. It's like just because, it's very interesting. Like very, very famous people also. Like I think one of the most famous is Winona Ryder. Do you know? Winona Ryder is one of the most beautiful Hollywood actress. I think you can check it out in Google. Every time she goes to a restaurant, for instance, she can't help herself but have to steal a knife or a fork or a napkin. Now, let's say some of you have this problem. Now, ideally, let's say I'm your teacher, Buddhist teacher, you're the Buddhist. And let's say you have this problem. Ideally, the Buddhist relationship between the student and the teacher is like a patient and the doctor. A patient must say everything to the doctor. I have this, I have that. How can you not? What's the point of going to the doctor? You go to a doctor and say, what's the point, right? Just like that. When you go to the Buddhist teacher, you're supposed to, reveal everything. Hey, I know I'm a kleptomaniac. I can't handle. Or whatever. And in our society, in the very traditional Bhutanese society, I don't know, maybe the kleptomaniac example is a bit too much, But maybe some of you who are 7th generation, let's say your grandfather is a Gomchen, his father is a Gomchen, his father is a Gomchen, you know all of that, but you suddenly want to become, I don't know, Muslim or a Hindu or I don't know, like a Christian or something. But you can't express this because your uncle is a Buddhist, your auntie is a Buddhist, your father is a Buddhist, your mother is a Buddhist, your Lama, you live in a Buddhist, you actually sleep in a Chesham. Now, so then you just keep quiet. That is what I mean by cultural hijacking Buddhism. This is when culture is destroying Buddhism. This happens a lot. But I have to say, culture also does help Buddhism. Culture is like a vessel, you know. I'm sure a lot of people, who come here, maybe they will see a beautiful stupa, Chaitanya. And, the Chaitanyas, sometimes they look very nice. And then, let's say, tourists come here, they, wow, beautiful Chaitanya stupas, take photos, just for photography reason. Then the person gets more interested, what is this thing? And then maybe he or she meets somebody who says, this actually represents mind of the Buddha. Oh, mind of the Buddha, what is that? So on and so forth. So sometimes culture also helps. So I just wanted to answer this because it's an important question. Okay. When is your lunch? 12:30? Okay. Hunger is good. That's what Ayurveda says. So, let's be hungry a little bit. I'm serious. Don't eat too much. I heard hunger is good, and I think it's good. Also, when you are hungry, whatever you eat is quite delicious, isn't it? So, if you want to enjoy your food, be hungry. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is a very practical question. I will answer this. I have been trying to meditate, but always get distracted due to, busy life. Moment I start meditating, then moment I am distracted. Whoever asks me this question, wow, so good. This means you are meditating. So my answer for you is that yes, I would rather you keep on every year asking me, I just can't meditate, I'm distracted all the time. I would rather you keep on getting frustrated by thinking that you are distracted. That is an awareness. I would rather you do that than, Rinpoche, I was meditating, I was really, there was a light coming, and my mind was so good, I was having blissed out. I don't think I will trust you. So, whoever asks me this question, please, I pray that you will forever be frustrated, thinking that you are distracted, because it is awareness. Okay. Now, and actually, another practical question, and this is kind of a very sweet one. Where is the location of mind in our body? Very, very, I can see where the questions are coming from. Engineers, where else? engineering question, right? Wow, it's really good. But you know what? This is the very questions that the Buddhist Gomchins are given as a homework. Really? Like in the past, like a great Paltul Rinpoche, one of the greatest men, he even asked his disciples, go to the field, turn over the yak, you know yak? In Tibet, yak downs, yak shit, turn over them. Probably mind is there, who knows? He gives this kind of, what is it, homework. Climb the tree, climb a mountain and see, maybe there's your mind. So on and so on and so on and so on. And then, from the tip of your head, all the way to the tip of your toe, search. That is actually their homework. And then, many times the students will say, I can't find any. I can't find a spot. Then the teacher will say, no, how can you? Without the mind, you are like a dead body. Mind is very powerful. You all have mind, I have mind. And in fact, the mind is many times very powerful, but mind is also the most problematic. I mean, sometimes don't you wish that you don't have mind? Like if you guys don't have mind, you will be like this table also, like this table. This table is not necessarily happy today because suddenly he had a person on the top of him, or whatever it is. Right? And when we leave this room and this table left here, the table is not going to feel lonely. If there is a more beautiful table suddenly arrive, the table is not going to feel jealous. If I'm not using it, it will not feel left out. If I'm using it, it will not feel like, I'm useful. So, sometimes we wish that we are like a table. It's getting there, right? You should know it. Artificial intelligence, so on and so forth. Maybe it has an intelligence, but anyway, that's another day's conversation. But so, mind is there, but where? This. So, I hope that whoever asked me this question, I hope if he or she is, if you are really interested, please pursue the Buddhist path. I would say probably of all the system in the world, Buddhism may have the most comprehensive, I'm talking of millions and millions of pages and words. It's all about seven. Everything. So this question, answer to this question, where is the location of mind in our body? This is your homework. I'm not answering. Okay. Now, this is I think very local question. Even though the consumption of alcohol is considered one of the 5 poisons, sort of intoxicants in Buddhism, why is it still offered during certain rituals? Very good question. Very good. Welcome to the human world. Why do we eat together and shit separately? Why we wear clothes even though we were born naked? This is how human, and it's a very good question. But I have an answer to this, but let me, it's really, remember culture and Buddhism. Culture and Buddhism. So, okay, for instance, Buddhism originated from India. So lots and lots of Indian culture is found in Buddhism, even in Bhutanese Buddhism. For instance, when you're doing Mendel, you are offering Lampo Rinpoche, Dacho Rinpoche. Seriously, if I give you an elephant, would you want it? Lampo Rinpoche? Where are you going to keep it? It's a nuisance. And I'm being offered Lampo Rinpoche every day by thousands of people. Luckily, it's only on visualization. If I end up getting thousands of elephants, where am I going to put it? But why elephant then? Because India, it used to be such a big thing in India. Same thing. Metopema, what a big deal. Lotus, big symbolism in Buddhism, right? Why not marigold? Why not rose? It should be rose these days. Valentine, all of that, right? But why Metopema? Well, that one has, by the way, some philosophy behind it, I should say. Metopema, lotus born in the mud but not stained by mud. Likewise, our mind, surrounded by desire, anger, jealousy, pride, whatever, but mind is pure. Stuff like that. But primarily, lotus is there because India, where in the past Bhutan don't have lotus. They have maybe in Galipo or somebody, maybe here they might have. Tibet definitely not. That's why all the tankas, the tankas, when they do Metopema, is all wrong. Did you notice? Metopema, it doesn't look like a lotus. They say it's a Metopema, but it doesn't look like a lotus. Because they have never seen one before. They've never seen them. None of them been to India. There was no road. Okay, aside from that, I want to now answer the question. In the tantric ritual, we use things like meat, alcohol, garlic, onion, so on and so forth. Now, there is actually a profound reason for that. This has got nothing to do with Buddhism allowing you to do it. It's not a permission. You need to know this. You need to know a little bit of historical background. Do you know that Buddha was a bit like a Che Guevara? Do you know Che Guevara? The revolutionarist. Buddha was a bit of a rebel, revolution. Buddha during his time was a rebel because there was a lot of Brahmanical system where the Brahmins believe in things like caste system, Shudras, Kshatriya, Brahma, all that. And then also in the Brahmanical system, they really have all these distinctions of, no garlic, no onion, no shoes, no meat, no alcohol, all that. Okay? Now, and then of course the God created all these. But Buddha came and he was systematically rebelling towards a lot of this. For instance, one very big one, God is not the creator. Our mind is the creator. Mind created God and we think that God created us, so on and so forth. So all the way to Tantric Buddhism. In the Tantric Buddhism, we are supposed to practice non-duality, non-preference. So ideally, if ideally a tantric practitioner should have a plate of delicious food and a plate of shit, and I'm supposed to think they are equal. Understand the equal, non-duality. Ideally, so that is the reason why, because in the Brahmanical system, alcohol is considered really bad. So in the Tantra, everything that's considered bad, not good, is like, not to say good, but no preference. No preference. This is very important, by the way, that especially in Bhutan, we are supposedly practicing Tantra. So it's an important question. I hope I've answered, but this is difficult to answer in a short time. But I think this much is all we could. Okay, now. Okay, this will be my last, because there are many questions, but I think I have covered. But also, anyway, many of them are very difficult and really deep, so can't really cover it within a short time. But this is the last question I'm going to try to answer. Okay, so it's basically request to talk about law of causation to the world, law of causation to the would-be engineers, law of causation. This is a very big question. But one thing law of causation or or karma. That's what you want to know. Karma. How an would-be engineer should really relate to the world of karma. That's what you are asking. And you are asking me, who is kind of trying to be Buddhist. Okay. There's one important misunderstanding, one important fundamental mistake that we make when we talk about causation or karma or legend. Okay? And that is, every time you talk about causation, legend, you always have this part of you wanting to know the original cause. You understand? Original cause. I don't think the Buddhists believe in that. Because when you talk about the original, there's an element of you wanting to know. It's related to time, isn't it? Time. What is the first cause? So when you talk about the first, then you are talking, obviously you're talking about second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, or that. So if you want to know the original first, Buddhists believe that time is relative. Buddhists don't believe in first original beginning of the time. No. If you all carry a gun and point at me and say, no, we demand, we demand the beginning of the time now, I will have to say, it's now. Right now. Right now is the beginning. Because the idea of the long, long ago, like a Big Bang stuff, many of you study physics. Buddhists only accept them on a relative level. And I think you, as an engineer, you should be comfortable with that. Okay, so how does law of causation work in Buddhism? It's a bit like a little bit of moisture, right? A little bit of moisture, a little bit of sun rays hitting on the moisture, and there's a rainbow. So cause number one, let's say quantity of cause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or meet, there's a result, the rainbow. If one of the cause is a little bit weak or non-existent, probably the result may not happen, or even if it happens, very small, very weak. And one of the cause is time. But the most important cause, this is what Buddhists say, the most important cause is the sound. Mind. So, I was going to it's okay, it doesn't matter. So, let's say, I will do this. Okay? Listen. It's a sound. Where did it come from? This hand, putting together, sound. But this hand is a secondary cause. You understand? Secondary. This hand is also a secondary cause. But do you know what is the primary cause? Your ear. Your mind, actually. Ear consciousness. If you are not here, I can do as much as I want. No sound is being heard. It's the listener's consciousness. You understand? So this is how the cause and condition works. Now, does it have sound? That's why the Zen people say, what was it? Go on. What's the sound of one hand clapping or something? No sound. Can you hear? No. No sound. I'm not clapping, no sound. You have no ear, or you are deaf, no sound. Now, all cause and conditions are there. There's a sound. Out of the emptiness arises everything. That is how the Buddhists understand law of cause and condition. Okay, now we have been human beings for a long time. 20, 30, 40. That's cause number one. Cause number two, we have been taught to eat many, many years. And cause number two, we have craving for the food, craving for, I don't know, emergency, ice cream, I don't know, toast, noodles, pizza, whatever. Cause number 4, I don't know, things like, and therefore, all of this also creates hunger. I'm coming to the end now. Oh. So I'm sure, due to those cause and conditions, we all must be getting hungry and tired. And because of that, we may feel that we are not functioning as we should. And for this reason, I should stop here. I'm very happy to, encounter this gathering. Thank you for letting this happen. I'm sorry for being late, but also I'm sorry that I have to rush back again. Thanks to the engineers who have created Zoom. We are even more busy. And okay, one last thing. This is you can take it as advice, you can take it as a gift from me. Okay? In Buddhism, there's a word called Tathagata Garba, which also means in the Choke, Tishinshipi Nimbo. And when they explain to us, they say that, our nature is the Buddha. Buddha is not outside. Buddha is yourself. You need to know that, so on and so forth. But this is very complicated. It's too dense meaning for a lot of you. It's just on an abstract, right? But before I leave, I just want to say this. Try to be comfortable with yourself. This is serious. Many times we are not comfortable with ourselves. And the reason, if you look at the reason why we are not comfortable with ourselves, is because we are referring too much. Oh, I don't have jaws of, Tom Hanks. Who has the best jaws? Who has the best jaws? Jaws, yeah. What? Mark Tyson. Keanu Reeves. He thinks Keanu Reeves has good jaws. Anyway, so many times we think, oh, I'm not slim enough, I'm not fat enough, I'm not tall enough, because we are always referring to, I'm not tall enough, I'm not black enough, I'm not blue enough, I'm not, I don't know. And then the magazines, Instagram, TikTok, all of this probably will make you forget the art of being comfortable with yourself. So be comfortable, you're perfect as you are. You have to just learn to be comfortable with it. Of course we have forgotten that. We used to walk naked. Do you remember? All of you have walked naked once upon a time. We would just cry whenever we liked, you remember? We would just do whatever we, just the kids, they're kind of comfortable with themselves many times. But of course, nowadays, even that is changing because we are forcing the kids to be adult soon, fast. I'm sure the modern parents, if they have a gadget to sort of, I don't know, like speed up their kids, like overnight become adult, they will do it. Be comfortable with yourself, whoever you are, however you are, whether you are black, blue, I don't know, whether in everything, with your religion, with your, I don't know, hang-ups, with your habits, it's not to be too, don't stress yourself too much. Okay, thank you. I have to go now, and see you. Shartan.
Something